So there are at least two criteria that a business must have to be a viable startup idea. The first is that this concept must exhibit an economy of scale. And second is that it must go after a large enough market to make that economy of scale actually worthwhile. And the combination of these two things really defines, a company that can grow to be really big. So what do we mean by an economy of scale? We should make this very concrete. While the phrase is thrown around a bit, there's a simple mathematical model that we've got over here where as a business increases the number of units that is sold, the actual cost of production for each unit decreases. But the quality of the unit does not change, it remains constant, and so they can charge the same amount of money. And so this is, a very classic, simple economy of scale sort of thing where you have a stair-step sort of decline like this. This is typical. It's going to be much more complicated in practice, many more declines and whatnot. But the upshot over here is that for the first 100 units, you're losing $200 per unit. For the next 900 or so units, you're making a bare $25 per unit. And then after that, after 1,000 units in, you're making $300 per unit. And, back over here, we've got a little model, how could this actually arise from microeconomic considerations. But the interesting thing about this is this tells you a lot, right? So when you've got your economy of scale sort of function like this, you can determine exactly how much capital you need at a very, very minimum. So this business starts out at zero, it loses money, and until it gets to $20,000 in the red. It then starts making $25 a unit. So this is at 100 units sold. It then starts making $25 a unit and slowly claws its way back up. And now it's got a break-even point. And then at this point, boom, it hits a curve and now it starts ramping. And this is how you want a startup to look. Now, in practice, it's almost never as clean as in this diagram. There's oscillations and vicissitudes. Most importantly, your theoretical low point is usually much higher than your practical low point, which is down over here. Nevertheless, you want to do this calculation because this will tell you, it gives you a quantitative way to say how much capital you actually need to raise and whether you even need to raise outside capital at all. It'll also tell you kind of, where your escape point is. And one of the things about this is that when you actually look at the mechanics of it, you start to realize how important it is to start pushing things into fixed costs. So go and read the paragraph above over here, but essentially the more you push things into fixed costs, the steeper your declines in cost are and the greater your economy of scale.